Roman Show here, Rodolfo Roman. We here at ICW in Miami, Florida. To my left, I have Gunnar. You know him here on the Impact Wrestling Zone. Gunnar, thanks so much for taking your time and speaking to us today.
Sure thing, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Well, Gunnar, let's talk. What's the relationship? What's going on with Impact Wrestling?
Keep in touch with them, man. You know, I got let go in 2015. A couple guys of us got let go. But always keep in touch with Jeff Jarrett. A lot of the office down there, just see if there's any other opportunities coming open. I always, I try and keep a good relationship with them because you never know. Like, my daughter was born about 7 months ago, so I took a little time off, just kind of rest, relax my body, something I haven't done in probably 12 years. But I always try and keep that bridge open with TNA. They gave me my first big opportunity with pro wrestling, so I always definitely owe them that.
So have you been keeping in touch with the product? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do a little bit. Unfortunately, my cable provider doesn't have Pop TV, but you can still catch it online. They got a lot of, what I like from what I see is they're bringing in a lot of younger talent. They're trying to bring the grassroots back because when Impact or TNA first started, they used a lot of guys that nobody had ever heard of. At the time, like AJ Styles was newer, Abyss was new coming in there, Chris Daniels, Kaz, all those guys. So what I like to see is them giving opportunities to a lot of independent guys that I mean, you go to these independent shows all over Florida, the Carolinas, everywhere I go, and you see so much good talent, and you're like, man, these guys deserve to get looked at. So that's what I like.
Gunnar, you were also involved with bodybuilding. You used to do the bodybuilding. You compete?
I did, yeah. My show in August of last year, I took a first and a second place home, which is good for me. It was my first one. It was something I always said I would at least do one, but I did one, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking at trying to do another one probably October, November of this year. I took time off to build some lagging body parts. I had an injury in 2015 that kind of locked me down a lot. But bodybuilding's great, man. It's definitely it's not a teamwork thing like professional wrestling is, with entertaining. It's definitely a me kind of sport. But the dieting's really tough, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the transformation in my body.
So is the goal to get you into Mr. Olympia?
Or,
Arnold Classic?
Yeah, I'm 34 years old, man. If you're going to be a Mr. Olympia or something like that, you got to start young because those are big guys. Not saying, it could never happen with like a physique or something like that because they are bringing back a different classic style bodybuilding. And then tattoos are so welcome in the business now. Like it's, back in the 80s, 90s, you didn't see that. But now with bodybuilding, it's very entertainment also. So, yeah, they do like the tattoos. It's something different.
So do you have some favorites? I'm sure you kept up with the Kai Greens,
yeah,
the Ronnie Coleman, the Jay Cutlers. But it got a little different this time around. Kai Green and Heath, they were going at it. It's kind of like a pro wrestling show. You didn't see that back then.
I said it's entertainment, man. I watch bodybuilding now, and I think it's cool that they're adding like aspects of that in. I don't know, maybe there's a real feud there, maybe not. I do enjoy like Kai Green. He's one of my favorite. Me and Sam Shaw actually got a chance to meet him in New York when we did the TNA tapings a few years back. My favorite all-time bodybuilder, obviously Arnold, but I'm a huge Jay Cutler fan. I like Jay Cutler. He's just like, he's driven, and it reminds me of how I am with pro wrestling. I was driven to want to be, the best, to want to perform, and that's what he did. So.
Yeah, he is one of the best, and he always gets confused with the football player, the quarterback.
Always, yeah.
He's cool with it, though.
Totally different, totally bigger, yeah, man. And just like Ronnie Coleman, you see those guys in person, you're like, my God, they're just monsters.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for serving our country because I know you're an Iraqi veteran. We see some of the vets have transitioned into pro wrestling. Jesse Neal's one of them. He was in Impact Wrestling. Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah.
Can we see maybe some of the Iraqi veterans, some of the guys that you know of that possibly making it themselves their way into the pro wrestling ring?
I think so. I think the pro wrestling world, indies is becoming a really hotbed. When I was doing indies, when I first started, it was kind of, you had WCW, you had Impact Wrestling, you had WWE. Indies, you can make a living on the indies now. People don't realize that. And I do think that with the way independent wrestling is now, a lot of guys are intrigued with it. They're intrigued with the MMA so big now. So you see a lot more military guys doing MMA, but I think you can see some military guys transitioning into professional wrestling because they have a story. A lot of them have a story. And the thing about pro wrestling is it's character-driven now, but they use a lot of real-life scenarios of like, okay, this guy, Crimson, for instance. Crimson went through combat, saw a lot of things that I would never want to see, and they use that, with his story because it's real life. Chris Melendez lost his leg, They use these real-life scenarios, and they can build characters off of that. They can build the fans' interest off of that, and they can make a star off of that. So, yeah.
Did you do any MMA or martial arts while you were in the service?
Never did. I did some Marine Corps martial arts, nothing I really dabbled in too much. Pro wrestling's always been just my life, man, ever since I was 5. So when I was off on the weekends at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, I would drive 10 hours, do an indie show, and drive back, So I still wrestled in the Marine Corps. It's really all I ever wanted to do. I never was interested in anything other than wrestling and bodybuilding.
So what's next for Gunnar the remainder of the year? Where can we see you?
My goal ever since I was 5, and I tell everybody all the time, is I got to at least try WWE. You know, I got to try and get my foot in the door there, try to get a job there. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. And I hope they give me an opportunity. I got buddies that are down there, and it just seems like a really awesome place to be, man. And I still have that dream as a kid to be at WrestleMania one year. So we're hoping that WWE gives me an opportunity.
Did you get to go to this year's WrestleMania by any chance?
No, I've never been to one. I always said I would never go to one unless I was wrestling at one. I'm hard-headed like that, so as of now, I have not been to one. I'll watch them, but I'm hoping I can maybe attend one as a performer. But if not, maybe when I'm like, 50 or something, I'll go to one.
Well, hopefully when you go is the time that you go to Square Circle. Gunnar, thanks so much for your time.